What is up, awesome people of the internet? Guys, happy Monday, everybody. We are into another fantastic week of women's hoops. And I got a lot to talk about, okay? We got some comebacks. We got some upsets. We have some streaks. And we have a whole bunch of injury updates to share with you all. That's and a whole lot more on today's episode of Quita in the Morning.
Are you ready?
Are you ready?
Are you ready? Ready, set, go.
Get ready, get ready, get ready, get ready, get ready. All right, I'm not sure what the weather looks like in your neck of the woods, but in Chicago, it is looking like it is about to have a severe thunderstorm. All right, so if you start to hear rumblings, it's outside. Because the weather outside is frightful. But it's not snowing. It's gonna thunder rain. Anyway, let's talk about the games that happened yesterday, and then we'll move on to some of the just overall big picture stuff that you all need to know about when it comes to the WNBA. So, yesterday, we saw a boatload of games as per usual on a Sunday. We saw the Valkyries lose to the Connecticut Sun. We saw the Chicago Sky lose to the Indiana Fever. Dallas Wings got cooked, got the wings clipped a little bit against the Las Vegas Aces. The Phoenix Mercury were able to get a win against the Washington Mystics. And for the first time this season, the Minnesota Lynx lost at home to the Atlanta Dream. Okay? Let's break down these games game by game. All right? And for the first game that I want to talk about, the Connecticut Sun versus the Valkyries, guys, here's the deal. Here's the deal. In the WNBA, anybody and everybody can and will get got, right? They can. And that's exactly what happened yesterday. The Golden State Valkyries, a team that is competing for a playoff spot right now, lost to the worst team in the WNBA. 95 Connecticut Sun to 64 Golden State Valkyries. Insane blowout, guys. And something that I didn't expect. Now, we all kind of knew that the Golden State Valkyries were going to have some sort of a downturn. And if you're wondering, why would they have a downturn? Well, the reason why I figured they would have a downturn is because of this. Because Kayla Thornton, who I would say is the core key piece for this Golden State Valkyries team, Kayla Thornton will miss the remainder of this year's WNBA season. All right. She suffered a knee injury in practice, and then ultimately she had to have a season-ending knee surgery this past week, and that's it for her. Kayla Thornton has really been the key cog in what the Golden State Valkyries have done this year. This is someone who has been a legacy six woman, right? Had a lot of success, especially with the New York Liberty. She goes over to Golden State and she becomes the star of the team in a lot of ways. She was the lone all-star for the Golden State Valkyries this season. She helped this team, exceed expectations, right? Coming into this season, a lot of people, myself included, didn't have high hopes for the Golden State Valkyries. But Kayla Thornton was someone who really helped this team elevate their game, right? She did. She averaged around 14 points a game, 7 rebounds a game. She played some really good defense, had some really good buckets for the Golden State Valkyries. And she was someone who was very consistent with this Golden State Valkyries team, right? The Valkyries had a lot of international players and a lot of players who had to leave out to go to Eurobasket and whatnot. And the steady Freddy player for the Golden State Valkyries, yes, it was Veronica Burton, but also it was Kayla Thornton. And for Kayla to be out the rest of the season, for her to be out, it hurts not just the overall offense of the Golden State Valkyries, it also hurts the defense, because one of those things that she doesn't get a lot of credit for is her ability to play some defense as well, and her ability to defend basically anybody on the court. And so part of this loss was because Kayla Thornton is out for the rest of the season. Now, at the same time, do we give credit where credit is due? Where Tina Charles and the Connecticut Sun absolutely did the big one yesterday? Absolutely. But while we're talking about this game, I do want us to always put stuff in context as to why things are happening. And I would say a huge piece that the Golden State Valkyries were missing yesterday was not just Monique Billings, but Kayla Thornton. All right. Tulip says, do we know what kind of knee injury? Is it exactly? Hoping not a ACL, at least. We don't know. At least far as from what I've read, I have not seen specifically what the issue is. We know it's a knee injury. They have not specifically said something else. It's a knee injury. That's what we know so far. Good question, though. Really, really good question. But that's sort of the prelude coming into this game. And so the Golden State Valkyries, they had a lot of people that needed to step up. And unfortunately, yesterday, they did not step up, and they proceeded to get killed, guys. Absolutely, positively killed on the road in Connecticut, as we saw the fantastic play of Tina Charles work its magic. Y'all, Tina Charles is a legacy WNBA player. She's been in the league for a long time. Number 2 in scoring overall for the WNBA, and she's number 2 for a reason. Tina Charles is one of those post players who has been making an impact since she joined the WNBA as a rookie, right? This is someone who can do everything. She can do hook shots. She could just back you down and muscle through and score. She can knock down threes. She can do a little bit of everything on the court. And yesterday, she was doing a little bit of everything. 24 points for Tina Charles, 6 rebounds. She was on a big one. And luckily for her, the rest of her team was too, right? Bria Hartley, 15 points for her. Marina Mabry got back in the starting lineup. Remember, she is easing her way on down to full health. Well, I mean, she's cleared to play, but she's getting herself together so she can consistently start, right? Initially, she came back and then she was initially on the bench, coming off the bench, and now we see her back, and so it's good to see Marina Mabry scoring buckets. She had 15 points of her own yesterday as well. And, the Connecticut Sun just roll, right? Off the bench, we see a lot of impact from everybody, right? We saw Olivia Nelson-Adota. She did come off the bench yesterday. Didn't score any points, but she did earn a whole bunch of fouls. She did earn a whole bunch of fouls. We saw J.C. Sheldon score 13 off the bench. Layla Khan with 8. Anissa Morrow did get the start yesterday, which was kind of surprising to see, but pretty awesome to see as well. 8 points, 11 rebounds for Anissa. And I'm going to tell you this. I'm going to tell you. I absolutely love watching the growth of Anissa Morrow this season. I think it's really, really cool to see. Really, really, really cool to see. And Sanaya Rivers, 5 points, 6 rebounds for her. And there was a comment that I saw that was very, very true. And it was, I can't find it anymore, but it was about Sanaya Rivers. Sanaya Rivers is super athletic. She's awesome. She can get to the bucket. She can make stuff happen. Here we go. A.L. Kune. There we go. Sanaya Rivers needs a shot, but her athleticism makes up for a lot. You're right. You're absolutely right. I really like Sanaya. I think the future is hers for this team. However, she really does need to develop a consistent shot. She really does. But until then, her athleticism is huge. Absolutely huge. Absolutely huge. And that's great to see. That is great to see. Henry says Connecticut are improving fast. I mean, Connecticut is getting healthy again, right? Marina's back, and I really do think Marina unlocks a whole lot more for this team. Just another scorer that you can count on to make some big time buckets. And so, yeah, good job for the Connecticut Sun. Again, 95 points. That's pretty amazing. That is pretty amazing. Chloe says Sanaya reminds me of Gabby Williams in the way that she's defensive minded, very athletic, but doesn't necessarily have a shot just yet. Yeah, I can see that. Tulip seems to agree. Sanaya is a young Gabby Williams. Shot can come later like Gabby's. It's possible. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely, it's possible. All right. Let's continue on to the next game that I would like to talk about. And that game is the game I went to. It is the Chicago Sky versus the Indiana Fever in Chicago. That game happened at the United Center. It was a pretty big game. Now, they did say that 19,000 fans were in attendance. I will have to say, guys, I was there as press, so I was sitting in the press box, which is like way up high. And from my vantage point, it did not look like a sellout. Like, it did not look like 19,000 people were in attendance. When I heard them announce it during the game, I was like, what? Really? Do we really think that 19,000 people are here? But anyway, yesterday we saw a game of runs. That's what yesterday was. It was a massive game of runs, where I gotta say the Chicago Sky held their own. Yes, the Chicago Sky lose 93, Fever 78 Chicago Sky. But if you look at the past performances this year against the Indiana Fever, this by far I would say was the best game that the Sky played against the Fever. Now, the Sky came into yesterday's game with 5 players out. Angel Reese was out with a back injury. Of course, we got Courtney Vandersloot, who's out for the rest of the season. Mariah Jefferson was out with a leg injury. Ariel Atkins was out with a leg injury. Haley Van Lith was out with an ankle injury. So many injuries. And sometimes when your back is when your back is up against the wall and you're just like, you know what, everything's going against us, you find a way to get more production. And that's exactly what the Chicago Sky did. But unfortunately for the Sky, they were not able to take down the Fever because there was one woman that could not be stopped. And her name is Kelsey Mitchell. Kelsey Mitchell was flat out amazing. Flat out amazing. Right? She just was, right? A fun fact to note about Kelsey Mitchell is she reached 200 career steals in yesterday's game, and so that's something to note and for the record books. And also, Kelsey Mitchell yesterday becomes the first player in Indiana Fever history to score 35 points in under 30 minutes. Yeah. Kelsey Mitchell was fantastic, right? She had a season high 35 points in yesterday's game. She had 10 points specifically in the third quarter when the Chicago Sky was on a massive run, right? This game was a game of runs. It really was. When we look at this game and whatnot, the Sky, they go on a 13-5 run in the third quarter. They cut the game down to 2 points. It's a 2-point game with like about 5 minutes left to go in the third quarter. And all of a sudden, Kelsey Mitchell starts cooking again, and boom, it is basically kind of over from there. But I will say, again, while Kelsey Mitchell was fantastic, again, 35 points, and the thing I want y'all to note, 6 assists for Kelsey Mitchell. I know sometimes there's a narrative about Kelsey Mitchell and she doesn't pass and whatnot, but she was passing that basketball yesterday and only 2 turnovers. So basically +4 on an assist to turnover ratio. Like very, very good for Kelsey Mitchell. She was involved. She was getting her teammates involved. And while no one else cooked as much as Kelsey Mitchell, I got to say, I continue to be impressed by Kayla Thornton. Continue to be impressed with her. She gave some really good minutes once again for the Indiana Fever. She's continuing to get in the game earlier and earlier and earlier, mainly because she's building that confidence from the coaching staff. Right? Every time she goes on the court, she's playing hard. She's trying to be the most efficient player possible. Like it's really, really good to see, right? Especially for her being a rookie, right? Yesterday we also saw Aaliyah Boston. Her and Camila Cardoso was battling down low. 14 points ultimately for Aaliyah Boston, 11 rebounds for her as well. The surprising thing that I didn't realize until the end of the game, and I was reviewing the box score, guys, Natasha Howard did not score in this game. She did not score at all in this game. Now, was it critical that she scored? No, I mean, her team won in significant fashion. But one player I did want to talk about, I included her in the thumbnail for a reason, and it's Chloe Bibby. Chloe Bibby is someone who was with the Golden State Valkyries earlier this year. She ended up getting cut from the team, and the Indiana Fever picked her up on a temporary contract. So I believe a 7-day contract for Chloe Bibby. And here's the deal. It's not always about the stats that a player has. It's about how they fit with a team and how they fit with specifically what a team needs in the particular season they're in, right? The Indiana Fever, they need a post that can stretch the floor. Now, to some extent, Demiris Dantas was supposed to be that, but ultimately her production has not been that great this year. It hasn't, right? And Brianna Turner is not a stretch to floor type of post player. And so the Indiana Fever had to figure out someone else to get that can stretch the floor, that can knock down threes and allow the Indiana Fever to play a 4-out, 1-in type of offense. And they picked up Chloe Bibby. You know, again, someone who was waived because she didn't play that much. Chloe Bibby didn't play that much for the Golden State Valkyries, right? She didn't play in all the games. When she got in, she was productive, right? She was a over 40% 3-point shooter, and you know, while she didn't attempt that many threes because she didn't get in the game that much, well, when she had opportunity, she knocked it down. And so the Indiana Fever, when they're trying to figure out, okay, who do we sign? Well, we should seriously consider Chloe Bibby. Someone who doesn't play that much, but someone who can do the thing we need her to do, which is stretch the floor and knock down threes. And yesterday, what did she do? She stretched the floor and she knocked down threes. 8 points for Chloe Bibby. Knocked down 2 threes in yesterday's game. And so that was really, really good to see. It was very, very good to see. Now, let's move back to the Chicago Sky. As I said earlier, correct LL Kune. Correct. As I said earlier, the Chicago Sky played way better than I expected. They played way, way, way better. 78 points scored for the Chicago Sky. Rachel Banham was on fire. 26 points for her. 6 threes. Her season high. She was absolutely amazing, right? But also, the rest of the guards did step up. Now, efficiency-wise, could they get better? Yes. but they did step up. 13 points for Beck Allen, 14 points for Kia Nurse. Again, as I said earlier, huge runs for the Chicago Sky, specifically early in that third quarter and also sort of the midway point of the fourth quarter. The Chicago Sky makes some big runs, and it was largely due to their post players. I mean, not to their post players. It was largely to their guards. Early on, seemed to be way more of a focus to get the ball down low, but as the game kind of went on, it was more of a focus of getting the guards going and making some stuff happen. And as a observer of the Sky, as someone who's watched every single game for the Chicago Sky for a long time now, I have to say, guys, I really did enjoy the effort that the Chicago Sky gave yesterday. I thought they never gave up. Whereas in the past, we have seen them basically give up. This team didn't give up. They kept trying, and they made some good impact in this game. And in the post-game presser, I did ask head coach Tyler Marsh about that, about the effort and the fire that his team gave. And here's what he said.
Coach, we saw a lot of fight from your team today, especially in that second half. To start off, you ended up getting the game to a 2-point score. Can you just talk about, with 5 players out, what your team did today and just the effort that they gave from everybody who got on the floor?
Yeah, I think games like today, as a fan, you're always going to look at the final result. I think as a coach, as a player, and any internal part of the organization, you learn to be proud of efforts like these, especially in a season that's been tough. And so one thing about us is we're not going to give up. And so that's been the messaging. We want to continue to stay together. We know what the odds are in terms of the injuries that we face and things like that, but we still get paid to do a job. We from the staff to the players. And so from that standpoint, coming in with the understanding of doing our job and helping the person next to them do their job, that's part of the togetherness and the culture that we want to continue to create here in Chicago.
So that is what Coach Tyler Marsh said to me after the game. And again, guys, a thing to note, I will be doing these going forward. I will be going to the Chicago Sky games as press. As you all know, longtime Sky fan, I have season tickets, but I did not sit in my normal seat because I was press. And so being press, it allows me the opportunity to ask questions. So I did ask a question to Rachel Banham about the impact of the threes that we saw from the guards and how that really does help to balance out what the posts are able to do. And then I asked that one particular question to Tyler Marsh. As the games continue to go on, I will continue to ask questions. I will continue to find out things. And so as games are happening, and as you all are like, you know what, man, can someone ask about this? Well, send it to me. Okay. Send it to me. Now, here's the deal. When you have a loss, of course, you can just ask a whole bunch of overall negative questions. But I wanted to ask this question that was more of that was about the fight that this guy gave, because yes, sure, even though you lost, even though you ultimately were not able to close out the win, you were able to compete, right? For the game, we saw this team compete. Yes, the Indiana Fever went on some significant runs, absolutely. But also, we saw the effort, the consistent effort of the Chicago Sky to come back. Again, a comeback within 2 in the third quarter. There was also a comeback in the fourth quarter as well. There was some positives, and I wanted to hear Tyler Marsh's take on it because, again, when I was watching the game, I was like, really good fight for this team. Really good fight, especially considering you had 5 players out. And again, sometimes when when it's a rock against a hard place, when you're just sort of stuck in this mode of, oh, I don't like the situation we're in. We don't have the personnel that we want to have available. However, what we got is what we got, and we're gonna make it work. And the Sky, yes, they did lose, but again, they play a whole heck of a lot better, and that was really, really good to see. Thank you so much. Thank you. It was very, very fun to ask those questions, and sorry about the audio. There was like some weird audio issues going on with the post game, especially when Tyler was talking. It was like the speaker was coming in and coming out, and so like that's why you heard it peak at times in the video. But yeah, we'll continue to ask questions as the season goes on. All right. Okay. LL Kune says, I don't think Tyler is the problem. He doesn't have the talent he needs to execute what he wants to execute. He's doing the best he can with what he has. And overall, LL Kune, I agree. I mean, with the Chicago Sky, it's a overall personnel issue. Right? Overall, it's a personnel issue. Is he the perfect coach? No. Does he make some mistakes on rotations? Yes. Does he make some mistakes on some of the plays that the Sky run? Yes. But overall, he's doing his best with what he got. He is doing the best he can with what he has. Okay? And so, it's one of those things. yeah, she does. Yep. But, Mama just loved to watch the games, and she was very happy about the game yesterday. She was like, "Hey, the Sky played with a lot of effort and whatnot." So the bad thing about me being pressed now is that me and Mama can't do the recaps after the game, which is a bummer. It's a huge bummer. So, like, that's one thing that, like, I will absolutely miss. We'll have to figure out a way to do that. Because after the game is over, I have to go to, like, the press room, and then we just wait until the players come down. But you don't know how long that's going to take, and so you have to kind of go straight there. And also, I want to sit towards the front. And so, there's no, as far as I can tell right now, there's no real time to be able to make a recap video. And so I got to figure out how to do that. Because where me and Mama would go live and after the game and we'll talk through it. That is something that definitely won't be able to happen with Mama, but I may be able to do. I have to figure that out. That's something I have to figure out. But hopefully we'll be able to get that good. Yeah. Right now, no more recaps right after the game with Mama. I mean, we did talk through the game driving home, but driving and recording, that feels like too much. So I don't know. We got to figure out a way to do that. We have to figure out a way to do that. Art says, can you get Mama, I assume you mean in a position to go live? She doesn't want to do that on her own. No. She humors me, and she'll talk about it, but no, she won't. Like, if I show her here's how to go live, here's what to do, like, she's not gonna do all that. Okay, she's not gonna do all that. Okay. Yeah, she's not gonna wanna do all that recording and whatnot. But yeah. Anyway. All right. Well, okay. There's so many people talking. Let me just address this. Let me address this real quick, okay? All right. Let me address this. Okay. There's so many people in the chat. I was going to try to avoid this, but so many people in the chat. Let me just address real quick. Okay. Yesterday, Kylie Copper's wig came off during a game. It was snagged. It fell off. She ran to the tunnel, got herself situated, and then she was good. All the people who are making fun of her and, all this other stuff, here's the deal. A lot of WNBA players, they wear wigs, they wear extensions. It is a part of the game. It is a part of these players' lives. It is a part of what they wear, and so therefore it is a part of the game. Will that happen sometimes? Yes. Is that a reason for us to just clown them? I don't think so. And so I wanted to address it, and that's it. Can we let's not be making fun of people and whatnot. Like, it happens. It happens, guys. I don't know if y'all have never seen it before. I have. It happens. Right? And it's not only black players who wear wigs and weaves. Okay? All right? It is what happens. It's unfortunate. It's not funny. And can we move on? Thank you. Thank you very much. Okay? All right. All right. Okay. Let's move on. Let's move on, guys, to another game that happened yesterday. And this one, I was like, okay, how about a comeback? Not a comeback. How about a bounce back? So, yesterday we saw the Las Vegas Aces take on the Dallas Wings. And for the first time this season, and for the first time in years, Jewell Loyd came off the bench for the Aces. Now, this is something that I have been asking about. This is something I've been asking about, and for a while, Jewell Loyd to come off the bench, because as a starter, she just wasn't productive. She just wasn't. And at some point, you kind of have to make a decision to hopefully put your team in a better position. And that was a decision to start Kirsten Bell and to bench Jewell Loyd. Now, I said, start Dana Evans. Kirsten Bell started instead. It worked out perfectly. Now, I will say, a thing to note, guys, an important thing to note about yesterday's game was that Paige Beckers was out due to rest. Paige Beckers did not play in yesterday's Dallas Wings game. Now, there are some people who are trying to use this rest as an opportunity to be like, she's a rookie. Why is she resting? And yada, 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 yada. Guys, I don't know if you all have realized this, but there is a trend of injuries all around the league. Have you all seen the amount of players who are injured? As we talked about earlier, 5 players for the Chicago Sky. Caitlin Clark has basically missed most of the season so far, right? You see a player like a Brianna Stewart go down. We'll talk more about her and her injury update later. You talk about so many players. Kayla Thornton we just talked about. So many players in the WNBA have gotten injured. So many. Paige Beckers rested yesterday. Now, would we prefer, in general, for players not to rest? Sure. But this WNBA season, we have had a way more condensed season, which is weird because you especially think about the fact that the WNBA as a whole, we don't have the Olympics this year. And so you would think that you're able to space out games a whole lot more and you're able to do things better, right? But that's not the case. We have the fewest days between games ever this year, or not ever, in the last 5 years this year. In the WNBA, there is a game for a team. A WNBA team plays every 2.7 days. 2.7 days. Back in 2021, there was 4 days in between games. Last year, there was 3.2 days between games. This year, 2.7. There is so many games, so little time, and so many injuries. And so while overall we don't like when players rest, it's understandable considering, the fact that the Dallas Wings just played, considering the amount of weight that is on Paige Becker's shoulders in terms of what she has to do for this Dallas Wings team, right? And also considering her overall health, injury-wise. And so the thing I never want is for a player to play and get hurt. And so, I understand that people are upset that they wanted to see her play. Yeah, understandable. I wanted to see her play too. However, I get the rest part because this season is relentless. Absolutely relentless. And so part of why, in my opinion, why the Dallas Wings got cooked yesterday is because Paige Beckers wasn't there. Now, some people may disagree with me, but I truly think that the game would have been closer. Still probably would have been a loss, but it would have been closer if Paige Beckers actually played. But she was out due to rest, which, again, understandable. I'd rather you rest than you get hurt and you have to be out. You know what I'm saying? So that's one thing there. Okay. All right. Let's talk about another key point. I already mentioned it kind of. Let's talk about it again a little bit more. And that was Jewell Loyd coming off the bench. So final score, 106 Aces, 80 Wings. And talking about this game is a key feature of this game. You have to talk about Jewell Loyd. Jewell Loyd came off the bench and I would say had her best game of the year coming off the bench. And that was fantastic to see. Jewell Loyd goes 4 for 9 from the three. She finished with 20 points in just 19 minutes. 20 points, guys. What are we talking about? What an effort. What a bounce back. And her ability to knock down shots and her ability to get to the rim, make buckets happen. Like it was fantastic to see. Absolutely fantastic to see Jewell Loyd make that bounce back. And sometimes, and I know that she was cool with coming off the bench and whatnot. Sometimes, guys, you got to shake things up. Is Jewell Loyd a starter? Absolutely. Has she been playing like a starter this year? No, she has not. Right? And you got to change things up to just see what happens. Now, again, she had 20 points in 19 minutes against the Dallas Wings, so you put that in perspective. Sure. Put that in perspective. But I do think that this might be the start of something awesome for Jewell Loyd. Now, again, she's cool with coming off the bench. She's talked about it before. Yeah, Danielle. But Becky wanted her to start. Now, finally, seems like Becky understands that, hey, have Jewell Loyd come off the bench. And you see what that brought to the second unit. You just see. And we'll see how the Aces continue to do this. And the thing I loved, well, yes, that's why I have to preface it with, again, they doing their things against the Wings is not the greatest of things, yeah, because the Wings don't play a ton of defense. They don't. And we understand that. But yet and still important to mention. Still important to talk about, I would say. And also, in her place in the starting lineup, we saw Kirsten Bell. And y'all, Kirsten Bell, I was like, you better go ahead, girl. Kirsten Bell had a fantastic game. Fantastic game. She was absolutely cooking. Absolutely. And it was fantastic to see. So sometimes when you make a change in the starting lineup, it's cool to see production from the person that you put on the bench, and then production from the person that you started. It was fantastic to see. So shout out to Becky Hammond for making the change and seeing some success, and we'll see how this continues on. Okay, we will see how this continues on. Tisha says, I hope Bell gets another start. I get tired of her getting talked about like she has no purpose. I love her. Yeah, here's the thing. Kirsten Bell continues to she has continued to make the Las Vegas Aces roster, ultimately getting herself a guaranteed contract for this final year in her rookie deal. And yeah, here's the thing. Kirsten Bell, this was the best game I've seen for her in like forever, basically. And it was glorious to see as well. Like, I want everybody to win. Now, to be fully transparent, I wasn't too gung-ho about Kirsten Bell in terms of like what the Aces could have done with that spot if it wasn't guaranteed. However, she's on the roster and she's making an impact. She made a big impact yesterday, and I'm interested to see how she continues to play. I do think she'll start in the next game, and we'll just continue to see how this works. And I think that Becky's gonna ride this until it flops, right? So as long as Kirsten Bell gives significant production, now I don't necessarily mean in terms of points. Like, so yeah, sure. 19 points is fantastic, but if Kirsten Bell can give you a consistent like 10 to 12 points as a starter, it's and give maximum effort just while she's on the court, I think that's really good. I think that's really good. Really, really good to note. Okay, and then of course Jackie Young was the player of the game. 24 points for her, 8 assists for her. That's just what she does. But a triple double that did not happen, but was close to happening, was A'ja Wilson. She only scored 14 points in this one, which, not the normal scoring for A'ja Wilson, but 14 points, 10 rebounds, 7 assists. That was cool to see. Very, very cool to see. All right. Okay. Shall we continue on? Let's continue on. And let's move on over to the Phoenix Mercury and the absolute clinic that we saw Alyssa Thomas put on yesterday. So yesterday we saw the Phoenix Mercury take on the Washington Mystics, and they were able to beat the Washington Mystics 88-72. Now this game was a very, very, very close game. Very, very close game. But at the end of the day, Alyssa Thomas is Alyssa Thomas, and we end up seeing the Phoenix Mercury pull out the win. Guys, if y'all watch this channel, y'all have heard me talk probably at least 100 times already about Alyssa Thomas and how great of a player Alyssa Thomas is. I mean, dog, what we doing? What are we talking about, guys? 27 points. Now, all y'all who say Alyssa Thomas is good, but she don't score any points. I mean, 27 is pretty good. Now, is she consistently getting 27? No, of course not, right? She's averaging around 15 points a game. However, when she feels like she needs to score, y'all, she goes off. And yesterday, that's what she did. 27 points. And remember, guys, this is 27 points with just 3 free throws and 0 3-point bag. Typically, when you see a player get 25 or more points in the WNBA, regardless of their position, you usually see at least 1 3 in that mix, or multiple threes, right? Usually, the 3 ball is some sort of factor when a player is scoring 25 or more points. The thing that makes Alyssa Thomas, in my opinion, MVP worthy, the thing that makes her so great is her ability to impact the game, find ways to not only get herself a bucket, but also get her teammates a bucket when everyone knows her limitations. Everyone knows that Alyssa Thomas, she doesn't have the same sort of shoulder rotation that all other players have, right? She doesn't have it. She can't shoot threes. She can't shoot really, really long twos. She can't. Everyone knows all the stuff she can't do. But, guys, even with the limitations that she has in her shoulders, in her torn labrums, even with that, you know Alyssa Thomas is going to get to the rim. You know she's going to do that like pop shot type of thing. And you still can't stop it. You still can't stop it. Everyone knows what Alyssa Thomas is going to do. And you can't stop it. There's nothing you can do. 27 points for Alyssa Thomas yesterday. 11 rebounds, 8 assists. She was close to getting that triple-double again yesterday. And truly, who's stopping Alyssa Thomas? Now, again, I am of the mind that she should already won an MVP, right? Several years ago, when I believe it was when Breanna Stewart won. I was fully of the mind that Alyssa Thomas should have won. Now, this year, to me, it is Napheesa Collier at the number 1 right now for MVP. But in second place, right behind her, I have Alyssa Thomas. Now, I know other people may not have her because, again, is she the most flashy player? No. Do players overall like her? No. Like, you know, she plays bully ball, right? And she talks trash, right? Right? But when you watch her play, when you watch the impact that she has on her team, I mean, what argument do you have against Alyssa Thomas? Truly. Now, again, is she going to give you 35 points? Probably not. Probably not. But more times than not, is she going to be the reason why her team wins? Yes. Is she going to get close to 10 assists a game? Yes. Right? So this is just my reminder, once again, that Alyssa Thomas is that girl. And I know that you know, not everybody likes her style, but it is what it is, and you got to recognize greatness. Okay, you got to recognize greatness, and that's exactly what Alyssa Thomas gives you night in and night out. Olivia says, "I've grown to like AT's games. I get it now. She don't play. Yeah. 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 Tulip says, nobody elevates role players like AT has done her whole career. she helps to make everybody better. Like I love to see it. I love to see it. Dion says she's low key a bully, Quita. Hey, I get if that's what you want to call her. She's a bully that you can't stop. You can't stop her. When she's getting to the rim, she's a freight train. You get in her way, you're gonna fall down. You're probably gonna get hurt. like that's a body you don't want to go against. You don't want to run into her. You don't want to run into her. And again, she figures out ways to make some stuff happen. Okay. Tisha says, I mean, who's going to even attempt to take a charge on AT? Sonya messed around and found out yesterday. You just don't do it. Yeah, I mean, she's a freight train. They call her the engine for a reason, guys. They call her that for a reason. Okay? Doge says, y'all are going to regret having Asia out. She's leading in 2 categories and second in points. I got AT and Asia, not going to lie. I mean, to say that Asia's out when she's not my top 2, I mean, there's way more than just 2 players in the race. But I just wanted to name my top 2. And yeah, I mean, Asia's doing great. However, her team is not very good. Now, even if her team was really good, I still would have Nafisa and AT as my tops. But we'll see. We'll see how this continues on. We will see. Tulip says she's super fun to watch if you understand basketball. Facts, yeah. But yeah, if you're looking for an excuse to complain about somebody or looking for a sort of a reason to dislike someone, I mean, yes, Alyssa Thomas will give you some reasons. But if you're just looking for hoops, yo, Alyssa Thomas is fantastic. So I'm gonna keep staying on the AT train because she's fantastic. She is fan-freaking-tastic. Y'all can say she's boring. Y'all can say all this stuff. But can you say someone can stop her? If so, you got an argument. But clearly, you can't. Okay? I'm just saying, you can't. All right. Also, yesterday we saw Satu Sabli score 15 points in yesterday's game. We saw Monique Akoa Makani, another player who I just love to say her name, 13 points for her. And Laksa came off the bench and added in 13 points as well. For the Washington Mystics, Shakira Austin, she just continues to make a big impact. This really has been a great year. This really has been a great year for Shakira Austin. 20 points in yesterday's game, 8 rebounds. Never mind. I was about to say something else. Never mind. Sonia Citron and Kiki Ira-Afen did struggle yesterday. They absolutely did. Sonia, 13 points. Kiki, 6. It was a struggle fest. But the thing that was even worse for the Washington Mystics is the fact that Brittany Sykes finished the entire game with a goose egg. Like, that was shocking for me. Like, even some of her shot attempts, they were decent shot attempts. And she just missed it. Like, she was just off. Overall, off. And if you have an all-star like a Brittany Sykes, someone who is a walking bucket or has been a walking bucket for your team, someone who can give you around 16-ish points a game, if she is struggling to score and your other 2 all-stars, the rookies, are struggling as well, I mean, you're going to have a tough time. And that's exactly what the Washington Mystics had yesterday. They were in it. They were this, again, similar to the other game, similar to the Sky versus Fever game. This was a game of runs, and the Washington Mystics were in this game. However, we see them not have enough offensive firepower. Now, again, did I expect Washington Mystics to win? No. But I did expect the Washington Mystics players to play better than they did. I did. I really did. Specifically from Brittany Sykes and Kiki Ira-Offin. But again, Shakira Austin continues to show that she means business this year. And I love to see Shakira Austin play. I think this year really has been huge for her. And especially coming into, I believe she is a free agent coming next year. I think there's going to be a lot of teams that would be clamoring to get a player like a Shakira Austin. Now, a thing with Shakira, health is always super important, and that's something that's always a concern with Shakira Austin. But if she can stay healthy, you got a really good player on your hands. You're a really, really good player on your hands, for sure. All right. Can we continue on, guys? So let's talk about the game yesterday between the Minnesota Lynx and the Atlanta Dream, where the Dream made the dream happen of finally beating the Minnesota Lynx at home. Guys, the Minnesota Lynx have not lost a game at home all year. Well, that was until yesterday. That was until yesterday when, in the Target Center, the Atlanta Dream got the job done. Now, I was so shocked about this. Like, I really did not expect, I really did not expect the Atlanta Dream to beat the Minnesota Lynx at all. Did not expect it. However, anybody and everybody can and will get caught, guys. And for the Atlanta Dream, it started and kind of ended with the awesome play of Brittany Griner. Now, remember, guys, the Atlanta Dream is still playing without Ryan Howard. She's still out with a knee injury. And so you needed other players to step up, and Brittany Griner had what I would say was probably her best game of the season, or one of her best games for the season. Yes, but that didn't count. That's not a regular season win. So yes, did the Indiana Fever beat the? Let me just clarify this to make sure everybody understands why I said what I said. The reason why before yesterday the Minnesota Lynx were won all their games at home is because the Commissioner's Cup championship game did not count for the regular season. Okay? So, for the regular season, the Minnesota Lynx were undefeated at home. They were undefeated at home. Okay? Because the Commissioner's Cup championship game did not count. Okay? It did not count because it's a bonus game. Right? It would only count if every other team played a game as well, but to only have two teams play and it be added to their record wouldn't make any sense. And so the Commissioner's Cup games leading up to the championship, those counted, but the game itself, the championship game itself, does not count. So yes, it is a true fact that the Minnesota Lynx were undefeated coming into yesterday's game. Undefeated at home coming into yesterday's game because, again, Commissioner's Cup does not count. Okay? Commissioner's Cup championship does not count. Hopefully that makes sense. And they can't say they're undefeated anymore because they lost yesterday because Brittany Griner showed up and showed out. Again, 22 points for BG. I was expecting her to get over the 20-point mark. Yes. Yes, I just said that. Yep. But the Commissioner's Cup championship does not count. Okay. Anyway. It wasn't just Brittany Griner who showed up and showed out yesterday. It was It was the awesome play of Jordan Canada, guys. Jordan Canada has been she's I would say still really trying to overall find her own, like find like her role really on this team. Like, is it Jordan Canada the passer? Is it Jordan Canada? The scorer? And yesterday we saw Jordan Canada the scorer kind of light up. 18 points for Jordan Canada yesterday. That was really, really good to see. This is someone who has dealt with some injuries, but she's been doing her thing. Brianna Jones had a bit of a quiet night of sorts, but I mean, when BG is doing what she's doing, I mean, you don't have to worry as much if you're Brianna Jones. And then Alicia Gray, again, didn't score that much, right? In yesterday's game, only 12 points. But again, you got huge impact from Brittany Griner. You got huge impact from Jordan Canada. So everybody else, just had to, in general, just sort of play their role. And as always, Shatori Walker-Kimbrough continues to be a big impact for the Atlanta Dream. She goes 100% from the field yesterday, scoring 12 points, including 2 big-time three-point shots. I love to see it. Okay. So hey, shout out to Carl Semesco and the Atlanta Dream for getting the job done. Like the Atlanta Dream has been a little bit like wishy-washy in my opinion. They won some games that were like, oh, impressive. And they lost some games that I was like, why are you losing? So, in the WNBA, anybody can get got. But the Atlanta Dream have to not just kick it into gear against the best teams in the league. And that is what the Minnesota Lynx are. But they also have to be able to take care of business against the teams that they should beat. So, for example, we do see them playing the Golden State Valkyries on Tuesday. It's about taking care of business against those types of games. So that way, when we get towards the end of the season, you're overall in a better position. Like, for example, the Atlanta Dream, they should have the next 2 games on lock, right? They play Golden State, they play Dallas, but then they play Phoenix, and so I'm not expecting them to beat Phoenix. But after that, they play Washington and Chicago. And then again, they play Phoenix again. So, like, in the next stretch of games, I only really see them losing, for the most part, to Phoenix. In the other games, they should win. The thing is about the Atlanta Dream is they have to be more consistent. They have to be more consistent. And yeah, the Storm had the same issue. And you kind of gotta get it together. All right. And as I said earlier, that was the first home loss for the Minnesota Lynx this regular season. And so, yeah. A couple of other updates for you all. This wasn't about a game that happened yesterday, but it happened on Saturday? Where the LA Sparks took down the New York Liberty. I want to spend a little bit of time, just a couple of moments to talk about the LA Sparks. Looks like we do have about 10-ish minutes left to go. I do want to talk about the LA Sparks because this is a team that is peaking at the right spot, right? The LA Sparks is a team that, is pretty, I would say, pretty decent, right? They're a team that coming into this season, you didn't totally know what to expect. They're 11 wins, 14 losses on the season. They're trying for the playoffs. They're really trying for the playoffs. And this is a team that has found a way to get the job done. Right? They found a way. Over the weekend on Saturday against the New York Liberty, well, here's the thing. They found a way due to the fan-freaking-tastic play of Rickea Jackson. Guys, yesterday, on Saturday, Rickea Jackson had a masterful first quarter. Ultimately had the game-winning bucket. Had a game-winning bucket to seal the victory against the New York Liberty. And guys, if y'all aren't following me on TikTok, follow me on TikTok. I was watching the game and I was just so animated by it. It was a wild fourth quarter. Wild back and forth fourth quarter of just big bucket after big bucket after big bucket. And guys, towards the end of the game with like a minute left to go, I was like, you know what? I'm going to record this. I'm going to record the last minute of the game and we're going to talk through it. And I talked through it. I put it on TikTok. So if y'all want to watch my reaction to the game-winning bucket for Rickea Jackson, y'all can watch it on my TikTok. It's Quita Loves Sports on TikTok. Okay. So I put that out there because I wanted to react in real time to. I wanted to document in real time my thoughts of this game, and we just saw some huge buckets. Yes, thank you, Tisha. Thank you. Yeah, we're done with that other topic. Okay. It was huge. Yeah, Tulip. Yeah, 17 points in the first quarter. And the walk away buzzer beater. Rickea Jackson was trying to draw the foul. It looked like she was trying to draw the foul, and she just kind of threw the ball up, trying to draw the foul, but it went in, and it was just like, oh my God. It was crazy to see. Crazy awesome to see. And man, yeah, Chris, I picked this photo because it was just so, it was fun to see like the in the background, you got Rickea Jackson celebrating with her team, and then you have kind of blurry, you have the disappointment in Tosh Cloud's face. And it was just a glorious game. It just was. But the thing I want y'all to remember is that these games are not done in a vacuum, right? So the player that won the game, they didn't do it by themselves, right? In this game, the thing I loved about it, and I talked about this on my TikTok, like it was Rickea Jackson that was huge. It was, and she was huge from the start, right? And then we saw Kelsey Plum get going. We saw Dearica Hamby get going. We saw Azurá Stevens get going. And all the while, guys, I've said it before on this channel. I'm going to say it again on this channel, guys. Point guards are super important in the W. And it's not always about, it's not all about, points. And Julie Alleman, yes, she had 5 turnovers, which she has to get together. She has to, get that together. But she was passing that basketball on Saturday, right? 10 assists for Julie Alleman. I love to, continue to see her play for this team. Now, again, is she going to score the most points? She's not. But is she going to try to get her team in really good positions to win? Is she going to make an impact on her team? Yes, she is, and she did that on Saturday. Again, it's not always about the points. It's about how can you get your teammates involved? How can you make them better? And that's what Julie Alleman did yesterday. Again, got to clean up those turnovers, but like overall, I would say really good play for her, and also really good play for Rae Burrell. Rae Burrell is someone who came into the season with high expectations, very high expectations of what she's going to be able to do. Ultimately, she got hurt right off the get-go. Took a long time to rehab and get better. And now she's healthy. Now she's coming off the bench and making an impact for this team. 12 points for Rae Burrell in about 18 minutes yesterday off the bench. And so, like, really good job for her. And I love to see it. I love to see it. All right. A thing to note also, guys, is that in that game, actually, no. There we go. In that game, we did see Brianna Stewart go down early in that game. And I do have a little bit of an update for you all. Not a crazy update, but a little bit of an update about the injury status of Breanna Stewart. They do say that her leg injury is not as bad as we thought. So she hurt her right leg in Saturday's game, and she did undergo imaging that showed that she did avoid significant injury to that leg. All right. So Stewie will be going on the New York Liberty's road trip this week. But we don't know if she's going to play, but she will be traveling with the team. And again, she did undergo imaging that said that she avoided significant injury to her right leg. And so we'll see. We will absolutely see. And at the time when she got hurt, it didn't look like much. Like she had a pick and roll with Sabrina Ionescu. She went up for the layup. She jagged it, so missed it. Then she was running down the court because Rakia Jackson had the ball and she was, going down. And it seemed like right when Stewie crossed half court, when she was running, she started to hobble a little bit, and then she called to the bench to get taken out the game, and that was it for her for that night. And so we'll see if she does make her return, but it's a good sign that when she did imaging, there was no significant injury. So I did want to let you all know that piece of update. And also, guys, I already kind of showed it to you, but cleared for takeoff is Cameron Brink. Cameron Brink will be returning back to the court soon. That is according to the LA Sparks, which is absolutely fan-freaking-tastic to see. Cameron Brink has been cleared just 13 months after tearing her ACL as a rookie, which is good to see her being able to come back. And so, she did not play on Saturday against the New York Liberty, but it is great. It is great to note that she's going to be back, right? And also, guys, the thing to note is she did not just tear her ACL. She tore her ACL and her meniscus. All right? ACL and meniscus, which is why it took a long time for her to come back. So 13 months of recovery. And it looks like we will see Cameron Brink on the floor soon. Now, the exact date that she actually returns, we don't know, but she will be back. Will be back soon. She is cleared to play. She says, quote, "I feel great. I'm super thankful that the Sparks have let me take my time and really feel great coming back. I'm excited to be out there with my teammates." And so, that is something to note. All right. So it was a little bit, it was a question mark in terms of when she would come back. A lot of different timelines were given, but it's good to know that her return is very, very, very near. So I would say in the next week and a half, we should see Cameron Brink back on the court. Of course, very, very limited minutes. She's trying to feel her way back, but it is fantastic to see. No one wants to see injured players, and so it's great to see Cameron Brink on her way back. And so that is, as I said, really, really, really great. Okay. Now that we're sort of already in this topic of injuries, let me just give another injury update in case you all are curious about it. And it involves Caitlin Clark. There is no timeline for when Caitlin Clark will return back to the court for the Indiana Fever. Now, Indiana Fever have been figuring out ways to win and get some good games in there. Now that Caitlin has been out, she only played 13 games this season. She's been injury ridden this season, and it's unfortunate, but it is what it is. She's dealing with a right groin injury, and she did not play yesterday against the Chicago Sky, which makes sense. She was there in attendance, but she did not play. The Fever said last week that Caitlin underwent further medical evaluations, which confirmed that no additional injuries or damage were discovered, and that they will have Caitlin continue to work with the medical team on her recovery and rehabilitation with the priority on her long-term health and well-being. The reason why I wanted to talk about this is because the wording that the Indiana Fever used in talking about Caitlin and her rehab and whatnot, with quote, the priority on her long-term health and well-being, it seems safe to say that we probably won't see Caitlin playing probably before the season's over. Because when it comes to groin injuries, as we've heard Lisa Leslie say in the past, which I've talked about in the past on this channel, that it's you never know. It takes however long it takes, and it's one of those things where if you have a franchise player in a Caitlin, right, and someone who has really helped to elevate your team, not just in terms of like winning, but also in terms of just money and all that stuff. You want to be able to have her as healthy as possible whenever she comes back. And so this is one of those things where, like, yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if we do not see Caitlin play again this regular season. Right? I could totally see her coming back in the playoffs, if at all this season. Because at the end of the day, the Indiana Fever have a huge incentive to delay her return as long as possible until she is basically fully healthy. Now, of course, does she want to come back? Of course she wants to play. She wants to be out there, which makes sense. I don't think that they rushed her to come back earlier this season. I don't think they rushed her. I think she really wanted to come back. But I think that this one, they've given no timeline, right? And they've been upfront with people saying, hey, we're prioritizing her long-term health and well-being. And that's important because at the end of the day, these players are not machines, right? They're not machines. And at the end of the day, when you look at the Indiana Fever, they got a darn good roster. I mean, Kelsey Mitchell's playing out of her mind right now, right? And so when we look at the Indiana Fever and we look at what's coming ahead, I think they have some really good chances to do well in their next couple of games. And so, yeah, it makes sense that, yeah, of course you don't want to force her back. The Indiana Fever can and should make the playoffs without her. Absolutely. Right? They can and should. When we look at the upcoming schedule for the Indiana Fever, yeah, sure. Do they have some tough games? Sure. Can they still win those? Absolutely. So coming up, we will see the Indiana Fever take on the Phoenix Mercury. That's going to be a very, very tough game. Very, very tough game. But then they play Dallas, which they should win. They play Seattle, which, that can kind of go in either way. They play LA, which is starting to peak. And by that time, they play LA on August the 5th. And by that time, we should see Cameron Brink back. And so that's going to be pretty interesting. They play Phoenix again, so that likely could be a loss. And then they play Chicago, they play Dallas, Washington, Connecticut. Those should be wins for the Indiana Fever. Then Minnesota twice, then Seattle, then LA, Golden State, Phoenix, and then sort of trail off from there. So, like, when it comes to looking at the rest of the season, they should win over half of those games. And the reason why is because, literally, guys, have y'all been watching the Phoenix Mercury? I mean, not Phoenix Mercury. Have y'all been watching the Indiana Fever, guys? The Indiana Fever, here's the thing. They have been rocking and rolling. Now, yes, they lose twice to the New York Liberty. Yes. But also, the New York Liberty are the defending champs. All right? They got a good win against the Las Vegas Aces. Really good win yesterday against the Chicago Sky. And in those games, guys, I would say the last 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. The last 8 games, guys, this Indiana Fever team has been led by Kelsey Mitchell. And Kelsey Mitchell has been rocking and rolling. Here's the deal. Sometimes, as I said earlier, sometimes when the personnel around you are not available, sometimes it brings more out of you, and sometimes it brings more out of everyone around you. And that's exactly what we've seen with Kelsey Mitchell. In the last 2 games, not only has Kelsey Mitchell led the team in scoring, she also led the team in assists as well. Right? And that's going to continue as time goes on. Right? Now, does that mean that everybody else has to step up? Absolutely. And continue to step up. Right? But Kelsey Mitchell is cooking. And so, I think that that they will be just fine. I think the Indiana Fever will be just fine. And the Indiana Fever needs to prioritize, the long-term success of this team, which means don't play Caitlin anymore until Caitlin is fully healthy. Don't play her anymore. All right? Wait. Hey, if you got to wait to the playoffs, fine. If she's not even fully ready by the playoffs, shut her down for the rest of the year. There's always next year. And what you don't want is you don't want someone playing through a little tweak, and that tweak, they are leaning more on the other side of their body because they're dealing with the injury on one side, and then that turns into something else. Right? Now, while it's a groin injury right now, it could lead into a whole lot more things down the road. And so, hey, rest and you'll be fine. You will be fine. So yeah, that's the update about Caitlin. No timeline of when she will return. I wouldn't be, again, as I said, I wouldn't be shocked if she does not return this regular season. And even with that, the Indiana Fever, especially with Kelsey Mitchell, they've been cooking, and we'll see how that continues, especially against really good teams that they have coming up against Phoenix, against Seattle, right? I think those should be some really, really, really good games. Okay? All right. Well, guys, that is the stream. That's the stream. That's the show. Thank y'all so much for rocking with Quita in the morning. My name is Quita. We are in the morning, and I enjoy talking with you all every single day. So make sure to rock out with me tomorrow morning. Same time, same place. Let's have fun. So thank you so much for rocking. If y'all can, please hit that like button. It really does help the channel out a whole lot. Also, make sure to subscribe to the channel. I make content all about women's basketball. So if that is your thing, make sure to subscribe to the channel. All right, subscribe to the channel. This has been me, Quita, and I am signing out. See y'all in the next one. Until next time, guys. Bye-bye.
Are you ready?
Ready, set.